Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. We are here with another happiness chat. My guest today is the lovely Monique. She goes by the Monique Renee on Facebook and Instagram, and she will be joining me shortly. Hi. Oh, there she is. Waving right on time. Hi. Now, how I have added other people is there'll be a message where you can say you want to request to join. Oh, see, there we go. Look at that. Go live. Any minute now.
Am I there?
There she is! Come on, Big Renee! Hey! How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, definitely didn't do an IT check before this. So.
I was thinking about this. So this is like the, I don't know, 6th or 5th or 7th. I don't know, somewhere in there. One of these that I've done. And I thought earlier, I said, I never check with the person beforehand. I just assume they can get on. And then the last time I did one of these, the girl, she had trouble because she's in another country. So I just chatted, I'm talking. She's trying to get on for like 10 minutes. I'm just talking. She's trying to get on. And I thought to myself after that, I said, next time I'm going to check with the person. But you see, I didn't do that.
No, note that I need an iPad stand, because if you saw what was going on over here, you'd be like, girl, bye.
What are you?
But we're here.
You're not using your phone? I'm using my phone.
So what makes me nervous about the phone is when I watch other people's lives and they get a phone call or whatever, it pauses their video or their live stream. So I'm always nervous that I was nervous.
So what are you using? Because I always use my phone.
I'm on my iPad. So I'm Apple down, iPad, laptop, all of that. But I've never gone live. So
right. I've always just used my phone. And, twice somebody called, but maybe it pauses the thing. No one ever said anything. But maybe it does pause it, when somebody does that, but I never pay any attention.
I'm not sure. Yeah, when I watch other people's lives, I see it always pauses for a second, or they'll freeze, and then it'll be like, I got a phone call. They saw me on live. Why they call? So I was like,
I think that adds to our authenticity. That's what that adds to. It just adds to the authenticity. Like, I'm just going with the flow. I am not a professional IG live person. Okay, the first time I did this, my friend's phone was literally upside down. We trying to figure all out. I was just moved to talk to women about, and anybody else who wants to join, really. I don't want to exclude men. But mostly women join, what I'm finding, to talk about happiness. And so I said,
I was on here. Look at him.
This is, hey, ladies. Oh, hey. Oh, see, that's the other thing, too. People say stuff, and I don't even pay attention. Hi. Oh, Reskin. Oh, I know who that is. Hey.
I can't respond because I'm jittery, but
that's okay. I mean, I guess we can't really type anything. I've just acknowledged, people, and I wave to them when they wave back. So I guess I should introduce myself to anybody who's joining, because they know you, but they don't know me. So my name is Kamesha Milton, and I have been calling myself a happiness inquisitor. Okay, that is my new title. I am a happiness inquisitor, as well as some of the other titles that people are familiar with, like mom and wife or whatever. And now I can say I am a digital creator.
Yes. Okay.
So that's who I am. And my purpose, before you introduce yourself, I just want to tell people why it is that we are here. Look at this. We've got a number of people on. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. You brought the people. I love it. I love it.
For the small little village, small type village.
The fact that anybody joins to listen to me ramble on is always fun for me.
They probably
I am humbled.
They probably here to see what my happiness and everything else looks like. You know, I told you I was struggling.
Don't worry about it. This is very, it's very casual. It might even come to you as we chat. So my whole point with these like happiness discussions on my happiness tour, I'm calling it a tour now.
Okay.
I haven't gone anywhere, but I'm calling it a tour.
Yes, you have. So, Dubai. You
but
got
not with happiness.
All over.
Oh, well, you're right, because I have spoken to people in different countries. Thank you, Monique. Yes, girl, you're right. Thank you. I'm on a worldwide tour.
Yes.
Let me write this down. I don't want to forget that. This is a worldwide tour. Thank you. So I wanted to just share experiences, understandings, and just have discussions around happiness, right? Because I would love for every woman that I know or whose life, I have come in contact with in any small way to really want to actively and kind of intentionally pursue happiness. Because I feel like that is really when you get to enjoy a fulfilled life, right? When you are doing things that bring you joy, when you are with people that make you happy, when you are experiencing life, in a way that just lights you up, right? So I want to encourage this and I want to spread it. And I also want to learn what it means to other people, because happiness, based on my worldwide tour, I have learned is different. It's different. It's different for everybody. It's not the same, right? It's not the same. So I thank you for joining me to talk about this. And now I will let you introduce yourself any way you would like.
My name is Monique. I'm a government employee worker by day, and trying to find my happy by night, I guess.
You said by night.
I'm a mother, a grandmother of 2 beautiful grandchildren.
That's so crazy.
Daughter. I know, right? But yes, grandmother of a 7 and a 4-year-old. Mother of 2 plus some bonus children along the way.
Yeah.
And I that's pretty much my story. I've tried to do the digital creator thing. I have it all in my head. I never execute. So congratulations to you executing.
No, you execute. I mean, listen, I feel like there's levels to this whole thing. This is what I'm learning. There's levels, right? You are very active and engaged. That would be considered a creator, right?
Well, I don't put out content. I don't put out content. Like I used to, at least before COVID, I would do the car rides in the mornings and play my music or whatever.
Oh, really?
I give a little
playlist along inspiration and stuff.
I don't know about inspiration. I mean, ratchet could be inspiration. I was trying to get myself in the right frame of mind to get to work. And it would be, stuff like that. But I feel like I record stuff, take pictures of stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on TikTok and make a video.
Right.
And it never happens. So it's like all this stuff in my phone. I never really share it with the world.
But maybe you don't really want to share it with the world. That might be part of it.
Then I don't need the storage space on my phone that I have, if that's the case. But my friends can tell you, you can come to me from decades ago and I could still probably pull up a picture or whatever else. I'm the picture video taker, but then I forget to hit send and share until.
Wow. But that's okay. Why did you, let me ask you before we start talking about the happiness stuff, why do you think you stopped doing your morning rides to work? Is it because you didn't need to pump yourself up anymore? Because you said it was really more for you to pump
because I don't drive into work no more. I'm at home.
You don't go into the office ever?
Oh no, I am blessed to be a remote employee at this time.
So you're like 100% removed
right now, brand new, fresh,
and you don't have to do anything to pump yourself up for your work from home day?
Now yes, I listen to music throughout the day. If I'm not on meetings, I have no issues saying, hey Alexa, play XYZ. But I'm a music person, like that kind of keeps me going. I'm a TV person, but if I had to choose between the two, it would be music all day long.
Yeah, me too. I'm much more of a music person.
Yeah.
I don't, and it is whatever kind of music I like. I don't even know what's the like pop music or all that kind of stuff. I try to listen to it occasionally just so I feel like I know what's going on, but I just
but that old
whatever.
school R&B has me in a chokehold. So, you know, give me some good 90s, 2000s type.
Yes.
I have some newer ones because the kids, you know, will force me every now and again to listen to something so I can seem like I'm cool. But,
Right.
you
But
know,
you don't care for it. You like, I'm not interested.
Ari Lennox, new, you know, stuff, new music like that, but still that old school R&B vibe.
Look at this. We have already stumbled onto something that makes you happy.
Oh,
I have not asked one question.
I've been thinking about it. Since you twisted my arm.
Well, maybe you were thinking about it, obviously, you know, so we can have a discussion. But you were already doing something way before we ever had any kind of plans to talk about happiness that brought you happiness every day, it sounds like. There's something that, you know, there's this music, this 90s R&B music that brings you happiness and joy.
Yes, it will definitely bring me happiness and put a calmness into whatever stress I feel like I'm going through. So yes, music definitely is a happy place for me.
Music is a happy place. I love that. I think you might be the first person that mentioned music as a happy place. Okay. So let's start from the very beginning.
Okay.
I don't know how far back this means, but you know, what is it that you remember as a youth learning about happiness? Was there anything that you learned about happiness?
So if I can be really honest, like, right, we're gonna be really honest.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like family, being around like those big family reunions and things. My father's from North Carolina, so we would go to family reunions at least definitely once a year, but for whatever reason, because it was so many of his siblings, we would all kind of come together for something at least twice a year. We were kind of going to North Carolina, family, and spending that time down there. I mean, you know, my mom is a city girl, so I've always been in the city suburbs area, and to go down there, it forces you to stop. Like, you know, I'm talking country town, one stoplight, they sit on the porch, everybody knows everybody, waving in slow motion, and to them it's just like, we gonna get there, what's the problem? So as a kid, because it was so many cousins, my sister is down there, things like that. Either they were coming up here for the summer or I would go down there for half the summer. It just kind of brought that closeness that my mom's side of the family is close. Like, I'm close to my cousins, but it was just something different because they were all, for the most part, they were all down there in some part of North Carolina. He's one of 12 siblings. So, so we always came together. It was always a bunch of us. So I think that kind of taught me happiness because, especially with them in North Carolina, you know, they thought we were rich up here. You know, you see my mom's house, things like that, or my parents' house, you know, it's like, oh, they got money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, we can't. They just trying to. So I think those were kind of like my first real memories of, you know, I'm happy to be around my family. It was good food, good socialization. You didn't want to leave. Like, you cried when everybody had to get in their cars and separate. And they would do these like prayers and songs. Like, all of them would get together and just sit out in my grandparents' yard and sing and pray and let us know when you make it back. So like, those were kind of, I think, my first like memories of happiness,
of a happy feeling.
Like, because, you know, you step into their world for a little bit, but then you still get to go home and enjoy.
And you know, like the different, like, so there's people, right? So definitely for you, relationships and people, right? And gathering, and then maybe even, like you said, seeing something new, just a different
Yeah.
environment, right? From what you were used
forced
to.
to settle down. Like, you didn't have to do schoolwork. You didn't have to,
Oh, so this was in the summertime?
Well, so even during, like, we would go down for some weekends, but weekends for us
to do no schoolwork when you went for the
well, because if we drove down on like a Thursday night, maybe if I had to do like a little bit of homework or finish up something. But once we crossed over into North Carolina.
Wow. So it was also like an escape. Yeah, it sounds like it was also like an escape too. Escape for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, my mama not going to, backslap me or tell me to stop doing something in front of my grandparents or my aunties and uncles, right? Like, you got to be the cool auntie or whatever too. So you kind of got away with stuff down there. As soon as I touch down, I'm going to stay with this cousin, or I'm going to stay with my sisters or whatever. So yeah, I got to get away from them, but still be around them and still, enjoy myself a little bit more. They were free down there. Kids, you didn't have to worry about I'm going down the street to my cousin's house or whatever. It wasn't like it was up here. Up here you had to watch what you were doing, how were you traveling to get around. It was definitely a little bit freer. So be it for a weekend or a couple of weeks at a time, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun too. Yeah, fun. So my mom's family, it reminds me of my mom's family because they're from Florida. And so, which is probably even slower because it's even further south.
Oh no, one stop light, one everything. One post office.
I know. I mean, there was at one time we had like a town named after us, and it's a black town, so it's no stoplights, no street lights, no nothing. You know what I mean?
Oh, y'all was big time.
So, well, at one part of the family was apparently at some point. But so I understand that, but it's interesting how you look at it, because for me, I wasn't always excited about it. Like it wasn't something that I was always happy about. Like I would be more annoyed sometimes because I felt like my mom was sending us away, right? Like she's like, "Oh, summertime has come. Time for y'all to go stay with your grandmother in Florida," and there wasn't that much going on. Now, the thing I did like about it were times when our cousins were there, but they weren't always there. Or they might come for like a week. We'd be there the whole summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they would, maybe hang out with us. And then we would go and do things and go to the rec, the recreation center and all of that kind of stuff. And go to church together and walk, around the neighborhood and that kind of thing. But I think because we didn't have that same kind of family community the whole time. And their family is not that big. My grandma is just one of two. She has a sister.
Okay, yeah.
It was different. But I think that is so interesting that you, even as how long did that happen? How long did you continue to go like down south? Did you do that like your whole childhood?
For the most part, I will say probably around middle school, high school, not as much. We would definitely go down for like the family reunions and things like that, but they didn't come up here and we didn't really go down there as much as we got older.
Right.
Yeah. So like my kids and grandkids, like they will never experience what we experienced. I mean, sadly, both of my grandparents are gone at this point, but even still, just to kind of come together, like they're trying to do like a family reunion this year. Will I make it? I don't know.
Well, it's not the same, right?
It's totally different now. Yeah. Like our grandparents' house is no longer. So, people have started moving around. We now are the adults because our parents are like the monarchs or whatever, families, matriarchs of the family. So it's a little bit different. I mean, and I would love to have them experience that, but
but they're adults too, right? It sounds like it was
my kids are grown.
I know you see your grandma, so
so it's just a little different.
Yeah, it's not the same because, like you said, it was more of a freedom, fun, kind of different, carefree, experience that you can only almost experience as a child. I feel like.
Yeah. I was definitely green going down there, because I would just, we going to do what? Like, what? We not, huh? My cousins and my sister would look at me like, girl, come on, like, stop. Okay.
Well, it's different. You know, it's like, what was that story? Country Mouse and City Mouse. You know, there's
It's
really a
definitely
difference when you are, and especially when you come from far up north, like we do. And even though Maryland is still southern, people in the South still think of it as the North.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they're like, oh, you're rich, or you have all, whatever money. Like, people aren't working for a living up there too. You know, we working for a living up here too. So it's a totally different like way that they look at life, I think.
Yeah.
People in the North versus those that like live in the South. At least it used to be that way. I don't really know what it is now because, like you said, so much has changed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely got to do better. I have not been down there probably since the beginning of COVID, because that's when we lost my grandmother. And my sister and niece and nephew, they do so good coming up here. So it's kind of,
you don't have to go.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, and I still have family down there that I should see and miss, but it's not the same.
Yeah. I see 67 Sunshine has said, I love the country.
Oh,
see?
Hey, cousin.
So you're not the only country girl here who enjoys the country.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then happiness for you is a couple things I am picking up, what I'm hearing, right? Besides music, when you think about it from your childhood, because I feel like a lot of things start in childhood, right? So there was new experiences, there was family, there was fun, there was this like carefree thing.
Definitely friends. I would definitely
friends. Right. Yeah.
Just traveling, being able to get on the road. You know, as a kid, it was definitely different than having kids and having to pack them up and everything else. So, all you knew, you just got on the road, whatever you needed as a kid, and you were ready to go.
Yeah. So is happiness, is that still like what you think is that those things still bring you happiness now? So as a child, it was a different kind of experience, obviously, right? But are those still things that bring you happiness now? Or how has your happiness evolved over time, or how you look at happiness?
So I told you when we talked about this, I think I am learning a new Monique. So I will say, yes, traveling makes me happy. Vacations. I am a person who loves water and the sun. Not so much the beach, but sun. And,
that's where the water and the sun are, Monique, at the beach.
It's the sand, and is the water clean? Like, I want to see the bottom of the ocean. Like, I don't want to go to Sandy Point, but but so yes, traveling, definitely friends and family, food brings me happiness. Good food. Music still, yes, definitely. So yeah, I think some of the stuff is still, it might have changed or altered a little bit as far as, top 5, but I think for the most part, all those things are still the same from childhood.
Yeah, they kind of stick with you. It's almost like when you are a child, I think, you are so open. Like, you don't have all of the, I don't know,
fears and
all of the negative barriers and things that kind of happen as you get older, right? That kind of come, to make you, like you said, fearful or be concerned or worried. You're just like out there living your life, having fun, doing whatever. And I feel like those are sometimes the truest experiences of who we really are. So when people say things like, "Oh, I don't know who I am," or "I don't know, what kind of person what do I enjoy, what do I like." So lots of times, if you think back to what happened when you were a child, those are still the same things. They may take a different look, like you're saying. You're not traveling with your dad to North Carolina. You might be traveling with, friends out of the country, but it's still travel, right? Yeah. And you may not have all of those cousins around you, that, you can hang out with, but maybe you have a nice group of friends now. It's still people, right? It's still relationships. So those things don't really change that much. I think sometimes people just lose touch with them.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just It's not like actively really engaged. So would you say that you are a person who every day, maybe not every day, is actively looking to engage in something that brings you happiness?
Unfortunately, no. Not every day.
No.
Not every day. No. I should be, and I'm trying to be. But in full transparency, I think right now with the everyday hustle and bustle of personal life and work life, I'm literally trying to stay afloat.
What does that mean? Afloat, like afloat emotionally afloat?
All aspects. So recently, I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Really?
And
I thought that was something they diagnose children with usually.
So back in the day, I was diagnosed with depression right before I had my oldest son young. I was 17. And so right before that, yes, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Let the therapist tell me now it was ADHD. All the signs of depression and anxiety were actually ADHD traits coupled with anxiety. So time management, organization, me not, completing tasks or being all over the place, the procrastination, all of that. You think is normal kind of teenage stuff. Like, I just don't school, this, that, and the third. But now that she's forcing me to break stuff down, every time I tell her, like, I know myself. I know I'm a late person. I know I procrastinate. Like, I know all these things about me. She's like, yeah, like those are all ADHD traits and this, that, and the third.
Really?
She's connecting it all back. And I'm just like, So, of course, like you were doing now, she's like, well, think back to when you were a kid and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. You want me to go back? It's like, and she's like, well, you kind of have to, so you can kind of see like what your patterns were there and what they are now.
Right. How they've changed,
So when you brought this conversation to me, it did kind of force me to stop to say, like, are you doing it every day? Are you trying to do like one thing that kind of brings joy? And maybe yes, with the music, that's kind of like, my happy place. But I can't say that I am every day intentionally trying to do something that makes me happy. I'm trying to float and make sure that work gets done to a certain point, that I don't forget to do something I promised a friend or family member I was going to do. So I'm literally just trying to. And if I remember to do something I was asked to do, I'm happy.
You're happy about being, you're happy because you remember to do something.
Because my brain is like, woohoo, over there. It's over there. So,
okay, so let me ask you about ADHD and happiness, if there's a correlation.
Let's see.
Because this is new to me, because I've heard of ADHD around for children. Like I said, I have sons, boys.
It's a thing in adults now.
A lot of boys. But for me, I always understood it to be more about attention and like not being able to kind of, like you say, calm your anxiety, sit still, focus, behaviors, focus behaviors and things of that nature, not about like feelings, so to speak.
So for me, yes, it is. As an adult, it is not picking up the phone and being on social media when I know that I have a deliverable for work, or I have, in this case, I have a son that's getting married in 29 days and I need to be making bouquets and boutonnieres.
Okay. So there is a focus aspect to it, like not.
Oh, definitely. Wow. And so I think for me, ADHD, or one thing that I know is a problem for me, I've always been a procrastinator. But tell me what I need to do, because then I can procrastinate because it will still get done.
Yeah.
If I choose to stay up all night to get it done or work on it a week before it's due or whatever else, as long as I know what my marching orders are, I'll get it done.
Oh yeah.
But now what I'm feeling is the anxiety, because I know what's on my plate. It's like it paralyzes me to just want to just not do it at all, because
do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
you feel like overwhelmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where do I start? I got this to do for work, this to do for the kids, this to do for my boyfriend, this to do for my parents. Like, I want to do this. So it's like, it's all priority. It's all important. I've opened my mouth and said I would do X, Y, Z. So it's like, now I got to stick to my word.
Right.
Yeah. So it then becomes just overwhelming in the form of anxiety, where it's just like, if I don't know where to begin, I just won't do anything. And
then that also will make your anxiety even worse, because now you feel like, I'm not getting done what I need to be getting done. and that's putting me further behind.
I'm putting other people before me in order to, that self-care and all that. Like, that should make me happy to be like, oh, I'm going to get a massage. But then it's like, I'm leaving to go get this massage, but I really should be doing this. And did I do that? Or while I'm on the table relaxing, I'm then thinking in my head like, oh, you forgot to do that, or oh, you didn't do this. So that's why I said, I think when we talked about the conversation, I had to stop and say what makes me happy.
Yes.
Because throughout the day in my mind, I have so much that I should be doing, or I've forgotten and then I remembered. So it's like, I'm literally all over the place, that I definitely don't stop to be like, Monique, if you just sip on some tea, you'll be happy. If you just play one song and sit there for 3 minutes and enjoy said song, you'll be happy. And if that makes you happy, then maybe you can perform a little bit better. In my mind, I'm so far behind on things, I don't have time to listen to a 3-minute song and just sit and be in the song. I gotta...
3 minutes that's 3 minutes more that you are.
I could have done something else.
That's interesting. So you said a couple things there. You said should a couple times. And so I also have spoken with counselors and coaches and all of these people who I think are fabulous, because, we all need to be working on ourselves, and it's great to have someone from the outside, right, looking in.
Right.
And so I had one coach who told me, because I would say should a lot too. And I don't know, I didn't think deep enough about like why, do we say should, but I know a lot of people, mostly women, do a lot of shoulding, right? Shoulding. And she would say to me, when you say should, there's a conflict in your beliefs or values there. So if you say, for example, I should go wash these clothes, right? You don't really believe you should wash the clothes. You believe that you should want to wash the clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because you don't really believe you wash the clothes, that also now adds to your, anxiety, frustration, or whatever, questioning, like, why isn't I don't even want to wash these clothes? And what's wrong with me that I don't want to do these things, right? Instead of saying, it's okay, I don't want to wash the clothes. The clothes need to get washed, right? Yeah. We can both agree clothes need to get washed, but maybe I'm not the one that needs to do it now. Right. And so that's what she would challenge me on a lot when I would, because I'm like you, I'm a procrastinator for sure. And I'm also, I don't want to say a perfectionist, and I don't want to say that because I told my son the other day, you're trying to be a perfectionist. You shouldn't be a perfectionist. Sometimes I think I do too.
We all, I think it's in our nature to try to, if we're going to do it and expend the time to do it, we want to do it. That's one of the ways we were raised. If you're going to do it right.
Well, that's part of it too. I think a lot of it is like this external stuff that, like you said, you have to unpack for you. Like, is that who you are, or is it like who you were told to be or who you were taught to be? And now you're like, it doesn't really fit, but I still feel like it's supposed to fit. And so now you have this struggle, right?
Yes.
Like you have this constant kind of struggle with yourself. What I'll say though is a 3-minute song is not going to put you behind. Okay.
So I am slowly learning that. Like the therapist was like, you have to meditate like at least 5 minutes a day, if nothing else. Like just sit, breathe, be in the moment for yourself. You know, if you think of stuff.
It's not about the time. Yeah. It's not the time. Like, this is the thing I feel people don't always see. They're looking at the time like, oh my gosh, if I do this for 3 minutes, or if I do this for 5 minutes, then that's gonna, that's 5 minutes I could be doing something else. Right. But what happens is, if you're actually doing something, and I'm sure you can agree with this, if you're actually doing something that is bringing you some kind of satisfaction in some way, it may not be over the top happiness or joy, but it's bringing you some kind of satisfaction, it will help you with all the other things you have to do. It will, right?
So I'm learning that, but it's still a hard lesson. It is. It's still a hard lesson. It is. I'm not a morning person. I get a burst of energy at night. So when normal people should be logging off from work.
They should.
Well, yeah, because they should be. 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is the goal. But 9 to 6 for me, because I'm a 9-hour day person. But yeah, I'm getting my wind at 5 o'clock when the phones have stopped ringing, the meetings are over for the day. That is when I can finally like focus in and do work. But that's when you're supposed to be logging off to be with your family and doing your personal items. So it's like, it's certain things that, so I guess now for me, happiness is trying to figure out this new Monique, right? Like, I think we always, the way the therapist broke it down to me, and somebody else brought it to my attention too, was like, Monique, I just turned 45. They're like, you're 45. You're not the 25-year-old version of you. You can multitask then, you could retain information then, you could do this, you could do all those things. 45 with or without ADHD, you look different, and you have to accept who you are now, what you're able to bring to the table now, and those that love you will deal with it, work around it, or whatever, and work on what fits you. Right. So maybe time manage, maybe I'm not gonna be on time 80% of the time, but I'm doing my best.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's okay not to do all the things. It's funny we're having this conversation, because I was literally like yesterday thinking about this all the things thing, because there's always lots of things for women to do, especially, you said you work, you have children, you have a boyfriend, you've got grandchildren, you've got friends, right? You have a very full life. So there's always so many things that you could be doing at any given time, right? You can be picking and choosing. Like, you're choosing to sit here and talk with me about happiness. You could be choosing to do, many other things. Right. And as you evolve or grow, because you mentioned like 25 to 45, sometimes we don't stop to think, do we still need to do all the things? Yeah. Because you were 25, your life was different. You had children, right. You had a lot more things that they needed to have help with. And maybe they did, I don't, know whatever the situation was with other people there to support you, but maybe you were the one that had to do a lot of the things. Right. And you've just kind of gotten used to it. You haven't stopped to say, okay, now I'm 45. I still feel like I have to do all the things, but do I really have to do all the things? Right. No. I agree. And that is it, right? Like, once the kids got grown and had other kids, I still had them living with me until they went on their own. So even now, things look different. I have 67 Sunshine said, no, you don't. Thank you. I guess again, that's what you tell yourself, right? To just lay in the bed, people make it seem like you can't just spend a whole weekend in the bed. Me, Kamesha, I could and be fine. Yeah. But now it's like, oh no, don't put off today what you could do. Don't put off tomorrow what you could do today, and blah blah. But I don't want to do it today. Yeah. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it at all. I want to do it today. I don't want to do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it. I know. I just don't want to do it.
Like you said, washing the clothes. I don't want to do it. I mean, you know, if I could find somebody to come and wash the clothes and fold and put them away, I would. But
I would challenge you that you probably could do that. You probably could find somebody to do that for you. So
a boyfriend. I mean, he might be mad.
Whoever,
but you know,
whoever it is, it doesn't even matter. The point is that you have to be okay with saying, I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to be the one to get it done. And it can still get done. It can still get done, you know, to a level of satisfaction that is fine. You know, maybe not the way you would do it, of course. But, I guess them clothes or dishes will never get done. Well, maybe that person isn't the one. But there can be someone else who you can hire or who can assist you in some kind of way. But the point is that when you feel like you're getting into a space of like, I should be doing all of these things, and now it's bringing you kind of anxiety, it's good to check in, because you are already aware. You already just said, I'm already aware. I just don't always do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Just check in with yourself and say, you know what, now I'm getting all anxious about, I don't even know. Some of it could probably be stuff that's not even necessary to be done.
Yeah.
Like, does this need to even be done by anybody?
Right.
One. Two, does it need to be done by me? Like, this is a place that I had to get to. That's how I can share this, because like I said, I have, adult children myself and a husband, and as the only woman in the house, I was doing all the things, because we tend to do all the things, and I got to a point where I was like, this is some bull right here, like I'm working, I'm taking care of the kids, taking care of the family, because then women too, we always got extended family things, because they pull on us like to help with whatever, and I'm like, this is some bull. These other people in this home can be doing more. Now, maybe their gift doesn't lie in cleaning clothes or washing dishes, right? Mm-hmm. But perhaps they can help me do something else that they don't mind doing, where I will then now have space for cleaning clothes and washing dishes, right? And so that is where I had to stand up kind of for myself and say, listen, guys, like I said, I'm surrounded by guys. Listen, guys, I on my day off, I don't want to just be running around washing clothes and cooking food and running errands and going to the grocery store and picking up stuff for you and, and trying to fit an hour in for like a friend here and there. Like, I want my time to be my time. Like, you look like you having a good time doing whatever you're doing.
Right.
And I'm the one running around here like a chicken, with my head cut off.
Right. I think that's my thing, though, trying to figure out that I don't have to do it. I can pay a maid to come clean the house and then, just maintain it in between their visits or whatever. I think that's my thing.
I don't think it's you. I'm going to challenge you on that. I don't think it's you figuring it out. I think it's you giving yourself permission that it's okay to do those things. Because just the fact that you said a person to clean the house, it sounds like clean the house might be on the list, right? So there's some thought that's gone into, okay, there are some things that I might not be very interested in doing, but you haven't given yourself permission to say it's okay for me not to do it.
Because I think, again, going back to that growing up thing, your parents had you every Saturday, blast the music, clean the house, and you couldn't go anywhere or do anything until the house was clean every week.
That's right.
Else. And now, society makes you feel like you're dirty if you don't wash your sheets once a week. Look.
But you're not that, you're not that, you have resources now, right? This is why you work. Right, so you can have options for yourself, for your children, for anybody in your life. You have resources that can help with these things. When my mom was a single mom raising 2 kids in the city, she ain't had no resources to get anybody to come clean nothing. We would have maids, right? We would have.
I think that does have something to do with, because even with my mom now not being in the best of health, she still won't. I'll be like, Mom, I can get somebody to come into the house to clean. But now it's like, I don't want them to see. I don't want them to see how we're living. Like, no. And I'm like, I hear people always be like, I got to go home and clean because the maid's coming tomorrow. What am I paying them for if they're coming? I mean, I get it now. You got to at least put stuff
get
in a
it
place
in
so
order,
they
like
can,
where it should go,
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
But even like with her and stuff, you know, like cooking and stuff, I'm like, oh, I can get a meal service, I could get a maid, I could do this, and it's like, no, you could come help. I don't clean my own house, so I don't want to come. I don't want to come clean. I ain't cleaning my own house.
So I certainly don't want to clean yours, right?
Come clean yours. I ain't clean my own, but again,
yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I don't want to minimize it and say, you know, if you know there's something that you don't really want to be doing, just don't do it. Like, of course, it's not going to be that easy, especially when you have family and friends and commitments and things and people that you really care about. You don't want to let people down, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to let people down. You don't want to disappoint people. You don't want to tell them no, right? I can't do it. But there's also boundaries too, right? Like you have to protect your space. You have to protect you, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like when you are actually doing things for yourself, I feel like we're all over the place with our happiness talk, but I think it's coming back around.
It is.
It's the same thing, right? When you are doing things, you know, for yourself, it does have a kind of a ripple effect, like a positive ripple effect on other people. We don't think it will at the time, sometimes, especially when it's difficult. Even though it might seem like it's going to bring you some happiness or some joy, or, you know, it could be a small thing. Like you said, making yourself some tea and you're like, oh, but I'm letting this person down because I really should be talking to them about this, or I really should be doing this. And you don't know the impact it might have. You might be so calm from drinking that tea that the next conversation you have, the person might be like, oh my God, I'm so happy to talk to you, Monique. You know, my day was blah, 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 blah. But now you so calm, I'm so calm. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has effects that we don't always see because we're looking sometimes at the negative. Like, oh, if I do this, this is what's going to happen negative, or what's going to go wrong, or what's not, you know, going to be the case. But you don't know. So someone else always also tells me, one of my other friends says, to give yourself grace.
Yes.
And I love that phrase. Give yourself grace. And I say that to myself a lot when I start to feel a little like I'm not doing enough. Like, you know, and it'll come back to me. It's like, nope, give yourself grace. Like, I'm doing the best I can in this moment. In this moment, I'm doing the best that I can. And that's the best that I can do. And that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. That has definitely become a new thing. Like, give me grace. You know, I'm learning myself again, or at least this version of me now. Because again, I'm still working on those. I was told they weren't flaws; they were character traits, be it good or bad. But just So I mean, I guess happiness for me may not be visible every day because you know, so maybe it's there, like we say, I love music, but in my mind music may not necessarily be happiness right now, but it's a calming mechanism for me to function or whatever else.
But happiness can be calm for you.
Yes, for me happiness might look like getting some sleep because I have insomnia.
Yeah, it could be rest, it could be calm, it could be peace. Happiness doesn't have to be a big house. It doesn't have to be a fancy trip. It doesn't have to be, you know, like what other people define some big achievement as. It can be just you feeling good in your space for this moment. Yeah. Happiness, you know, or feeling like everything isn't all out of control. Like you said, I feel like I'm maintaining, and that's happy. Yes. About that.
I will say that I definitely being able, if I'm on time, if I'm on time for the ride out when we're supposed to be leaving out, if I'm on time, I'm happy. I made it. Like so I will say it's little things. I just don't think I'm as intentional in my everyday. So that is something that I will say I've thought about since we talked about it, trying to figure out.
And it might not even be, you know, every day. It could just be when you're starting to feel like you're spinning out a little bit. It's like, okay, when have I had my last injection of calm? Right. You don't even have to call it happiness, right? My last injection of calm, where I felt kind of like at ease. Yes. And if you haven't had that, then you're like, I need to have one of those moments. you know, and like figure out what that might look like for you. And then also recognize it. So the last lady I spoke to, because the other question I'll ask, look, we at 7:49, is like, when was your last happy moment? And so what she told me was, she was, you know, in her apartment with her partner, and they were like on their balcony, and they were just like eating some random fruit or something. And she said she was just enjoying herself so much, and she recognized it as a happy moment. She's like, you know, this is a happy moment. I feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that is also a good thing to acknowledge too. Even if, like you said, it's not some big thing. Like, sure, you have markers and milestones that you can always say are happy. Like, I had a big party or a celebration. Yeah. Like, yes, I'm happy. But you can have small little things that occur every day in your life that you can just stop and say, oh, I'm feeling really good right now.
Yes. Yes. Like, I washed clothes today, oddly enough, and put them away. It made me happy. It did. Because it was productive, right? Yes. I finished. So again, for me, it's finishing a task. Yes. So it's starting and finishing the task. And normally I can put a load in, but I won't finish.
You'll forget that
I won't take it out. I'll forget to fold it. I won't do anything. Maybe take a nap, and when I wake up, they're folded. So the fact that I got it done today, so I'm finding, and maybe happiness, you know, is not the word or whatever, but I do feel good about myself or proud when I am productive, no matter how big or small the feat is. So I take.
Yeah, I mean, I think happiness can be, well, to me, it is a feeling, and it can be as big a feeling or as little a feeling, right? Some people compare happiness to joy, and joy is like, you know, exponentially kind of happy. And other people compare happiness to contentment, which to me is not as high as happiness and not as high as joy, but they feel good about being content. Like, they like that place. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, contentment is the place to be. So it's whatever you define it as, but it's, to me, it still is based on feeling good, right? Like,
yes,
feeling good in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's you deem it big, you deem it small, like, but you are feeling good about what it is that's happening.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I will say, again, knowing this was coming, it did make me be a little bit more in the moment and not focus on, again, all the stuff I have on my plate. But it did make me pay attention a little bit more to when I smile, what's going on, what makes me smile. So again, if I get a good word of encouragement from my supervisor, or again, you know, I just got hands up from Redskins for Life because I did the clothes. So I mean, I definitely feel like my last thing of happiness, this month has been a great month. I have felt loved and showered for my birthday. I got my bonus baby won a tournament. He came home with some medals. Like, those were good moments. Going to try food. So I need to put a trip under my belt. But I definitely need to put a trip on the books. But I definitely can say in the month of March and February, I have been doing a little bit better. So still working, putting in the work for the therapist and the ADHD. But again, like we said, giving myself that grace to understand, like, Monique, you are physically and mentally going through stuff.
Yeah.
So it is okay if you lay in this bed today, because, you know, sometimes people make you feel like it's not okay or you shouldn't be. But
that's because that's what they wouldn't do, right? But it's not about them. It's about what you want to do.
Very true.
So
and
for me,
I think that's where I have to get to that point. Like,
and it's not here. And it also is not a reflection on them, right? Because I want to lay in the bed today. It doesn't have anything to do with you. This is what I need to do for me, right? To recharge me. And you want me to be my best me, right? Everybody wants everybody to be their best me. This is what I need to do to be my best me. I just need some time, relaxed in the bed, sleeping in, whatever it is, not going, doing something. Do what make Mo happy. That's what 6 says. Do what make Mo happy. And that's okay. Like I said, it's not always going to be something that is going to please everyone. Most
Yeah.
of the time, you know, especially if it's something is difficult, it's because it's not going to please everyone. If it was easy, you'd do it anyway, right? It wouldn't be a challenge at all. But giving yourself grace and letting yourself know, you know, it's okay to do some things that other people may deem not necessary, a
Mm-hmm.
waste of time, whatever. You know what I mean? That's them. You know, you have to live the life, you know, that you feel comfortable living. And still, at the same time, let them know I still care about you. I still love you. I'm still going to do all of the things, you know, but this is what I need to do for me right now. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's good. This has been a great
Yes!
discussion, Monique.
I was really nervous about this because I was like, what do I have to bring to the table for happy?
What are you talking about? You have so much to bring. Why do people say this? I want people, okay, listen, I don't know how many people on this live. Let's say 6. All 6 people, okay? I want you all to understand that you have value. There is something that you have to share. You may think, I'm just out here barely being happy.
Barely making it.
That is a blessing to some people who are also doing the same thing, Monique.
You're
also right. Also doing the same thing, just trying to put one foot in front of the other and move to the next, you know, day, right? Nobody is out here saying that they are perfect and doing everything absolutely right. Nobody is doing that.
You were right.
So I say, come with all of your imperfections like the rest of us so we can have a real conversation. And you don't know, you know, what that might say to like the next person, right? It might say something to the next person. You're giving grace to yourself, which also gives permission to the next person to give themselves grace.
Very true. Very true. I will say again, you know, I fought you on this for a good minute. So it's like, I'm not doing this.
But I know, I kept seeing you.
Yeah, you did. And I was like, let me just go ahead and get this over with. But it definitely, I will say it definitely did help me because it causes, you know, sometimes we're so busy with every day that we forget to be appreciative of the little things. Yeah. So it did kind of force me to stop and think, like, what makes me happy? Mm-hmm. What could I do different? What am I working on? Mm-hmm. Things of that nature. So it did. It definitely did help.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Is there anything, okay, as we wind down our conversation, are there any final thoughts you want to share, or you feel like you said it all?
No, I think I'm good. I think this was a good conversation.
I think so too. I mean, I always love hearing people's perspectives, and it also gets me thinking about myself, right? Mm-hmm. It's not as though I'm sitting on some happy bus by myself all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, Kamesha, because you always giddy and smiling whenever I see you. So
well, I am. Okay, I'll say naturally, I am like a positive, kind of upbeat, optimistic person. But when you are a person like that, people think you're like that all the time. I'm human. I'm not like that all the time. I get down. I get sad. I cry. Yeah. I get mad. I yell at people. Like, I curse. Like, I'm not always like that. Like, I try to, like, my natural state is like that. But that doesn't mean I can stay there all the time. Like, no one can stay there all the time, right? Like, but naturally, yes, I'm pretty optimistic and upbeat. But there are definitely times, like this month, I was telling somebody else, like, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was just sad. Like, there was one day I was just really sad. And I didn't know why I was sad. I was just down. I was like, oh, what's going on? And then it hit me like, oh my gosh, like my dad had passed away on March 1st of last year. And this was like the week after, you know, that March 1st when he passed away. But I guess because, like you said, we're always kind of just moving along and like living life and just doing things. You don't stop and reflect on, oh, wow, this is why I'm feeling sad. Like, this is what has happened.
Yeah.
And take the time to like just feel sad and be okay with like people being like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You're walking around like something's wrong. Yeah, something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong.
So normally I go into my bubble, as my friends call it. I go into my little bubble and I'll let them know, like, hey, I'm all right, but you're not going to hear from me for, you know, a few days or whatever. And normally those weekends, I would be in my house by myself. Because again, when I had to come out to work, you know, you had to put on that smiling face because people didn't see you down or whatever. You know, it's like, what's wrong with Monique? She's not smiling. She's not happy. She's not going to do the things. So once I came in the house, you know, I'm by myself. I could take the mask off, do whatever I needed to do, and then put it back on. Now, it's not, you know, as easy to do that because it's always something going on. So it is.
But you still have to find your moments, right? Because that's where you're going to continue to bump into this wall of, you know, overwhelm and anxiety. You don't have that space to just be.
Yes.
Just be. Like, whatever that is for you, just being it. If it's just being in your robe and in the bed, that's what you're being.
Yes.
If it's just, you know, sitting and listening to music and crying softly to yourself for half an hour, like I had to do.
And it's get up and move on.
That's what it is, right? And people just going to have to be okay with that. But what happens, I think, is the other thing I've learned too, because like I said, I'm surrounded by men. Because I also have a twin brother, I have nephews, so like it's always guys. They don't know what to do with those emotions. So when especially for women, like I'm just gonna say project, like us who always kind of have ourselves together. We're not always a puddle and a mess, you know. Like you said, I'm happy, I'm upbeat, like I kind of, you know, got my life together and stuff. So when you have a moment where you're like, I just don't have it together. They don't know what to do. They're like, what do you mean you don't have it together? You always got it together.
Right.
So if you don't have it together, how am I supposed to figure out how to get it together, how to get it together for you? Because you're the one that helped me get, you know what I mean? Or if you're even like in a sad, like negative emotion, some people, I don't even like to think of sadness as a negative emotion. I feel like emotions are what they are. But if you're having an emotion, I'll say that's uncomfortable for other people.
Because I don't know what to do. Do I hold?
Right. They don't know what to do. So they kind of, you know, make you feel bad about having your own emotions.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to say, you know, there's nothing you have to do. Just let me be sad or let me be in this emotion,
let me sit in
whatever it is.
And then I'll come out.
Right. Just let me be in it. It's not going to last forever. And as long as you're working through your emotions, they won't last forever. It's when you don't spend the time to like work through them that they come up in other areas, right? Just let me be in this emotion. It's okay. You don't have to do anything. Just don't sit there staring at me like she's about to off herself. No, I'm not about to off myself. Okay, I just need
some time.
I just need some time.
Then
I'll be okay. You know what I mean? So that's part of that too, is what I've learned, like dealing with sons and my, you know, husband and brother and stuff. Like they don't know what to do. So then they're kind of like uncomfortable because, you know, with those emotions. And now you feel uncomfortable because it's almost like you're putting an emotion on it, but you're not. It's like I'm just feeling my own emotions, and however you're reacting is how you're reacting.
Just let me sit here. I'm sitting here for a reason. I'm in a funk for a reason. I'm not talking for a reason. Like I don't know what the reason is, but I'm not doing it. So just give me a minute.
Exactly.
I'll be okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay, so what do we have here? I'm looking at my comments. Okay. Perfectly said. I don't know what red skin life is even talking about there. All of this. Oh, Trina, all of this. Awesome. Hi, my greedy travels. Thank you all so much for joining us. I feel like we could go on about this topic for so much longer.
We could.
And you was nervous.
For part 2 though.
Maybe, you know, I've been thinking. So on my Happiness World Tour, right? I have a couple
together into the room.
I have a couple more I'm doing, but then I thought, what if I move to like a different, I don't know if it's called like a pillar or whatever, but move from happiness to something else, like to worthiness or to faith or to, you know what I mean? Like, I do believe that having these conversations is good for people, and it's almost like refreshing. You don't talk about these things. You know what I mean?
Well, I will say, like I said, it made me think. Like, it forced me to think about something. Because, you know, when you first told me, I was like, I ain't happy, girl. Don't pick somebody else. But I will say, it sparked the conversation and it made
me a happy person. You look happy to me, just like you told me. Oh, but you're always so happy. You're so happy.
You do.
You
light up the room, girl. You come in and light up the. Hey, family, how we doing?
I I do that though.
You do,
and I'm accepting.
do.
I'm accepting myself for who I am, Monique.
Yeah.
I'm just being like, I'm not being.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
I'm not
not
mad. I look forward to
being
it.
like conceited or anything, but like you said, you're like understanding who you are now at 45. Me at 48, like I'm starting to understand that about myself too, and I'm okay with it because before I would just be like, oh, you know, I would tone myself down to like match the room sometimes.
Oh no.
Then I'm just sitting there like, I really want to say this. I really want to do this.
No.
I really, you know.
I look for, people might not know the connection. Kamesha is the sister-in-law to my boyfriend Tony, and so when we come together to the Milton family functions, it is her. It is
they
hilarious.
are so functions, ain't they functions?
They are functions.
They are functions.
They are all the things, and I live for them. Like, I don't think and again, maybe it might go back to that childhood, right? Because I don't really get that here with my mother's side of the family, and because I'm not in North Carolina as much anymore, I get that from you guys. Like, you know, his mom is amazing. His mom be momming. So, you know, I tell him every time I get off the phone, I love your mama. Your mama is the best. Like
she is a sweetheart.
So that brings me happiness.
Yeah.
Going to see Mama Milton brings me happiness. Like she like you, big old smile and grin. Leslie is full of jokes and good times. Like, it's always fun when we all come together. So things like that, yes, I look forward to them.
Thank you. I'm so happy you look forward. I'm always looking for you to be there too. If Tony's there, I'm like, I always ask my husband, like, is Monique okay?
Look, I already cleared it with Mom. I'm gonna make that trip one day without him. She told me. I was looking at.
Oh my God, we should do a girls' day.
I'm with it.
I took my mom up there, like just us, like me and my mom and my mother-in-law, and we had a good time.
Every time we go up there, she'll be like, Monique, this house, like you and Tony should drive by this house. Go see this house for sale. I'll be like, you don't want me over here because I'm gonna need them cakes way more often than what you do.
There's nothing to do up there anyway. What are you doing up there?
Doing this scenery. Look, calming down.
Well, that's right. You like country. You know, the country is where you get your.
I do feel like the drive far. Like the city is Fredericksburg, right? Is the closest city. That's like 45 minutes out.
It's far. That's why you got to make a plan. We can make a plan to go. We should, like, the spring is coming, summer is coming. We should make a plan to go up there, like, one Saturday and, like, take her to get a pedicure or something.
Let's do it. Just say when.
Yeah.
Going up there.
Yes, we should. We should. But thank you so much, Monique. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that you, even though you were nervous, that you were brave.
I definitely
said, I am going to do this.
I definitely did this for you. My live ain't never been activated on IG. So
look at all these people. I don't know half these people. These your people.
This is the village. This is the village right here.
They wanted to hear what you had to say. You ain't think you had
the village that supports me. Yes. So they keep me safe.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate you so much for sharing and taking your time to talk with me. And I'm sure that we have enlightened and encouraged somebody on our lives.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to see where the tour takes you next time.
Okay. Keep watching. Yes, everybody, keep watching for my next happiness chat. I will have one. I think it's next Thursday. It's either next Wednesday or Thursday. I gotta consult my calendar, but it's either next Wednesday or Thursday. Okay. So we'll have another very exciting happiness chat. And if you are interested in more support with finding your happiness, I did put together a little, I call them pages. They're more like a journal kind of thing. Because I love journals. I journal all the time. So if you want, my journal pages, I will send them to you free. Just DM me and you can, do some gratitude. Like, these are things that help me. Gratitude, affirmations, just like free, like writing out my thoughts and things like that.
Yeah.
I'll share my pages with you. So anybody who wants that, let me know. But thank you, Monique.
Thank you.
Have a great night and continue to enjoy the last few days of your birthday month.
Thank you. I am. I have dinner tomorrow. I'm yes. probably gained a few pounds, but you know, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Yeah. I mean, you only get one birthday a year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You gotta celebrate it.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.